and the energy when he walked out in the court, and then it was maybe half to 2/3 full. The crowd was already chanting, "Let's go, Pete." And this is he's got some pretty good memories here, I would guess.
Just a touch, It was, I mean, you think about the first two big matches he won here. He beat Wilander in '89 when he was just a fuzzy-faced teen, and then knocked Lendl out in '90 when they were both night matches on this court. Of course, in '90, Pete went on to win the whole thing. A marvelous run last year here through 3 former champions until he had to play the back-to-back finals.
Well, he's won 13 Grand Slams. You see, he's only 31 years of age. All that tennis behind him. Incredibly seeded 17 here. And we all know how great a record he's got at the U.S. Open. Only topped by Wimbledon, by the way, where he has 7. I repeat, 7 titles.
And Sampras facing a guy who wound up being a seed, and we always talk about it. I mean, it's almost as if his real first name is Dangerous, because we always talk about him as the dangerous Greg Rusedski. Truly, how dangerous is he today, John?
Well, dangerous is also a word that comes when you've you haven't lived up to expectations. Yes, Rusedski has gotten to the finals here, as we see in that graphic. Yes, he got a seed when a couple guys pulled out. Yes, he's hot, having won Indianapolis and beating some top players. Speaking of top, Leighton Hewitt, #1 in the world, Safin in Cincinnati, Tommy Haas, the top 3 seeds, as a matter of fact. But other than that one final, he's never found himself past the quarterfinals, and only once did he get to the quarters in Wimbledon. And when you look at a guy as athletic as Rusedski, as confident as he is, this is the other bad news, by the way, for Rusedski.
Although most of these matches were played in the mid to late '90s when Pete was reigning in the world.
Can I throw in?
Go ahead.
Can I throw in the fact that he's lefty, which is more difficult for a player?
Right.
That he's got the hardest serve in the history of the sport. He's got, and forget the fact how hard he hits. He also mixes it up. You find it somewhat amazing that he hasn't had more results than he's had thus far in his career. Now he's about to turn 29 years of age in a couple days. So time, in a sense, is running out for him. Now, he does say that he feels more fit than he's ever felt, but I got news for you. He's going to need to feel that, because he just played an awful tough 5-set match against Paradon Srishapan right here on this court. And his first round match was no cakewalk either. He went 4 sets with Alex Kim, and he was down set point in the 3rd set to go down 2-1. So the weather is going to be help Rusedski. The fact that it's not hot out there, and these points are going to be relatively short. It's going to be a mind over matter type match. That's usually, Ted, where Pete Sampras excels.
When you look at these two, John, in their games, do you expect this is a match of tiebreakers?
I think the potential is there that, for sure, if they serve up to the capability, you'll see a couple tiebreakers. Pete's played with a lot of energy. He's not played a great deal of tennis, so in a physical sense, you'd have to say he's fresh. He's certainly eager to try to get something done here at the U.S. Open. Forget the ranking. I mean, he's dropped, and he's got to the finals here last year. He's going to drop another 30, 40 spots. If he were to lose this match, he'd drop to 50 in the world. And
he doesn't care about that, does he?
He cares. I mean, he's a lot of pride, but he doesn't care. What he wants to do is save his year.
Right.
But that's going to put some pressure on him, because he's going to need to do it. This is where he's really got to start stepping up. I mean, his first couple matches, Christian Pless, Albert Portas, were just what the doctor ordered. Excellent matchups. Now things should get significantly more difficult.
There's, in the background, Bridget Wilson Sampras expecting the couple's first child. Rick Fox of the Lakers.
Pete is a season ticket holder at the Lakers.
Another 5 minutes, we're going to see Tracy Austin hovering right in the background there.
Is she a big Rick Fox fan?
A very big Rick Fox.
Taking over from Rafter.
And now Rusedski talking to the chair, which
he's probably saying, can the ushers stop the people from coming in now, because we're about ready to start and we'd like to get going. This isn't the seniors tour out here where we play through these interruptions. This is the U.S. Open.
First set, Greg Rusedski to serve.
He's going to start playing. Well, in second thought, maybe he'll think about it.
Please quickly, please, the back of the court.
And this has all come out. I mean, we've been sitting here a long time. I mean, CBS came on the air at 11 to 6. They showed 20. No, that's tough for them. The warm-up act. 7 hours. They showed 20 minutes of live tennis.
That was the longest. I mean, I'm impressed with you. That's the longest pregame show I've ever seen you be involved in.
Well,
we've been through them at Wimbledon. We empathize. We understand.
and viewers should respect the players more, because
yes,
many times during this day, come on, we're not going to play any tennis today. It's over. Let's just cancel it, get it over. As a matter of fact, I was sitting with Rusedski in the locker room probably at between 4:30 and 5, and they said, listen, by 5 o'clock we're going to cancel these matches. So you're in a mindset, your third match up. They were scheduled third round on the center court. You're assuming you're not going to play. Suddenly, weather starts to clear. They change the schedule. They put these guys on this court. Rusedski's going to have to dig deep here to make this a tight match, because he can't possibly be feeling 100%. What was I talking about? 130-mile-an-hour ace.
So would you imagine that Rusedski would have probably preferred to wait till tomorrow, and Pete was rather happy to play tonight?
If I was in Rusedski's head, that's what I would have preferred.
And I'm assuming for Pete, he wants to keep playing so that he doesn't have to play back-to-back days.
Well, he would have had to play, think ahead, 5 matches in 7 days if they played on Monday.
40 seconds.
Rusedski knows that Pete's been struggling on the backhand side. Pete knows that Rusedski struggles on the backhand side. So you're going to see both players attack the net, volley to their opponent's backhand.
And Rusedski holds his serve. I think we'll be saying that a lot for both players.
I would find it remarkable if these guys weren't a little bit stiff and unprepared to play, certainly early in this match.
Well, they're taking advantage of this break in the weather to get as many matches underway as possible, and using virtually every available court here to get singles matches going tonight. Most of the doubles activity's been canceled.
We have a revised schedule they sent out at 5:20, Ted.
Just over an hour ago.
And the grandstand, they have Enquist and Haas. Pete careless there. Huntakova, Henin on court 11. Court 6, Clement, Korea. Court 10, Gustavo Kirten. So you see these matches just gotten underway. Sarge Sargisian, Shane Schalken, court 4.
15 hole.
Court 75, Juan Carlos Ferrero, Fernando Gonzalez. We go on and on.
You can really see what Pete Sampras means now in tennis as he tosses the ball to serve here. Right behind him, you can see all kinds of flash bulbs going off.
Well, it certainly brings back memories of his match with Rafter a couple years ago at Wimbledon when he broke that record. I mean, that was absolutely perfect timing for Pete. Just before it got too dark to continue. Well, here they're going to, they've already put on the lights. He's laying out some heat already. That's 115, but he's already thrown Rusedski 130-mile-per-hour serve. The ball is going through the air in a hurry. saw Moose Stevens in the training room, who's
1-all.
Pete's fitness trainer. He's worked with him about 4 years, and I don't think he's given me the runaround, but he's said this is by far the fittest he's been since he's worked with him.
That Pete is.
That Pete's been in. As a matter of fact, here he is on the far right. He's got some muscles to back up that excellent surfing ability he's got.
Well, that's consistent with what he's telling us, consistent with what the story has been, that Pete spent last winter working out.
Well, he called that a base for a couple of months, from more or less the U.S. Open to the Australian. And
15-hole.
if you remember this, Ted, when he went down under, he got to the quarterfinals. He played Murat Safin, and he looked good. He lost a tough 4-set. The 4th set in the tiebreaker, it was Sampras who looked the fresher of the two there at the end of that match.
Well, there was a lot of fitness work that Sampras did last winter he hadn't done before. Track work. He spent a lot of time working out with Stevens, again working out with some of the Los Angeles Dodgers and their fitness people as well.
40-15.
And just like a baseball pitcher worried about losing something off his fastball, Pete was concentrating on his shoulder, making sure that he tried to keep his rotator cuff strong for his serving.
Well, as important to the serve is to his game, that's a very, very good idea. And he's been thrown off. I think part of the problem this year is finding that he went away from Paul Anico. They both needed a break. Both were stale. Tried Tom Gullickson. Didn't feel quite comfortable enough there after a few months. Went to Jose Higueras. We'll get more into that after the break.
He leads 2-1.
Well, we started with all 3 games being held. Ted Robinson, John McEnroe are back in Armstrong Stadium. Pete Sampras serving to Greg Rusedski. The stadium filling up now. It's just about 10,000 and about 90% full. This used to have a second deck up top, and of course was the championship court here. The court where Sampras celebrated his U.S. Open champion.
I wonder if I hear something remarkable, Ted. I mean, would you have imagined? I mean, let's not forget, Sampras, okay, he hasn't won a tournament in a couple of years. He did get to the finals here last year. He beat Agassi, beat Rafter, he beat Safin to get there, among others. His record in 2002 coming into this tournament. And we've seen he's played some pretty good tennis the first couple. 20-17. I repeat, 20. Yeah. This is Pete Sampras here.
Right. I think a lot of it, John, you see is confidence, because Pete's lost extremely close matches, the kind that for years and years he would win. The kind he won against Andre here in the quarters last year.
The confusion over the coaching situation, I think, has played a factor. Obviously, his wife is pregnant. He's got to be overjoyed about that. He might have taken his mind off the court for a bit. Jose Higueras, who he hired, I think with the thought that Jose would travel with him all the time, wasn't able to make that commitment. Pete, not comfortable with the lieutenant coming on the road, decided to drop that rather quickly. Good feel from the big man, Greg Rusedski.
These two have only played once at Wimbledon. It was the first time they ever played way back in 1995. Did you get a feeling this match may play like it was Wimbledon?
Very much. Because I don't think Rusedski has the energy to stay back too often, and Pete's not going to because he doesn't have the confidence. So rarely will you see a long rally.
Game. Rusedski.
And Rusedski on serve at 3-2. All right, let's swing into the grandstand right now. Jim Courier joins us there.
What's up, boys?
Fresh off his doubles performance last night.
How's Tommy Haas looking over there?
Well, Tommy's looking pretty good. He opened up with a break here, and they've traded a couple breaks. In the very last game, Ingves got what he thought was a bad call, but actually Haas had hit a forehand on the line.
What did he raise his eyebrows and freak out like the Swedes do when they get back?
No, he got a warning, John, because he fired a ball at the linesman at the end of the game, and the umpire tagged him with a warning straight away.
This is Thomas Enquist you're talking about.
Enquist, yeah, it's unbelievable. But really a slow start for both of these guys. I doubt that either of them got a chance to warm up. They had about a 10-minute warm-up out here, so they're kind of getting the feel. You see Tommy now, 15:30.
Well, this is tough. I saw some of the players, Tommy among them, out in the courts, are soaking wet, though. So, obviously, you can't move.
They did go out and smack a few, though?
Well, I don't know about Thomas. I did see Tommy out there.
You know, that's just a bad call, in my opinion, for Tommy, he's Haas battling the shoulder problems, to go out and hit with even heavier balls. But, you know, I guess
because you can imagine, Jim, that those balls get a little wet rather quickly and heavier.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, once he goes out there and hits a few balls and they hit the court, that's a lot of stress on a guy who's already fighting it. Ted, you and I saw him in Indianapolis. He was struggling, and 3 out of 5 sets here is not going to help him too much.
Well, he's found ways to get through. That's what's surprising him. A couple times we thought, okay, he'd reach the end of that.
Well, I've been assured by Red Ames, because we've had a long conversation, Tommy's coach, that they've been in consultation with doctors. They've been assured that he's not going to do his arm any good, any harm, any more damage if he plays.
Right.
That it's a day-to-day thing that somehow, I don't know how this can happen, could disappear, but that it could potentially get better while they can continue to participate.
And you're buying everything Red's telling you.
And my nose is just growing.
That's what I was thinking.
If I buy that.
15 left.
There's no way his arm's getting better by playing. The only way to get tendonitis away is to take some rest and try and get stronger. And this is, I think they're just trying to keep it positive more than anything, and convince Tommy that, use the power of the mind to get through. But
okay, you were at Indy. You talked about that, Jim. He obviously was struggling when he played Rusedski in the semis. Why would he turn around and risk going to Hamlet, where he in Long Island, the tournament before, play three-set matches?
He shouldn't have. I talked to him after that match in Indianapolis and said, well, you're not going to play Long Island now, are you? I mean, you're going to go home and rest in Bradenton and get a few days. Maybe come up on Thursday to the Open and start practicing. He said, I got to go there anyway, is what he said, because they'll fine me if I don't go and at least show up and be seen by the tournament doctor. So he says, maybe I'll play a match or two. Well, he ends up getting to the semifinals and finally having to default to Shishipan, who wins the tournament. I don't know how that helped his arm, but he's up a break, 4-3. Hey, bye, guys.
All right, Jim.
We'll see you shortly.
Take it easy.
Come on over and visit.
It's too far. Can't make it.
Come on. You're only, what, 32?
50 feet. We're going to move 50 feet over right back into Armstrong Stadium. And now Sampras struggling. He just saved 1 break point, but faces 2 more.
That's a bit of a surprise here. Rusedski with. He's not very confident on that backhand side. I mean, that was a ball that just sat there. He's taking a nice rip at it. Very tentative looking lob. The return was excellent. Down at Pete's feet, forced him to head up. Almost gave him time, arguably, to run around that backhand. Perhaps is feeling the effects of that match. Certainly should have done more with that backhand. In the past, that would have been goodbye for this game if you're playing Sampras. Let's see what he does here on this second serve.
Well, Sampras has saved 3. The history of these 2 players suggests any break opportunity is huge in this match, as Guga's up 4-1 in the first, and boy, Hantukova was smoked ended in the first set.
advantage. Rusedski.
Not sure what Pete was complaining about there, because that ball was well long at volley. It's incredible how cold it's been in this, certainly the last 3 days. This can't be the U.S. Open.
I know. Feels more like late October. The players have to like this, don't they? And there's the break. So Rusedski, first blood, 4-2, first set.
I mean, they hate to win. Certainly 95% of them. It's borderline too chilly out there. Rusedski's come out smoking and on fire. It's a surprise, and to his credit, that he's come out here ready to play. When he gets time on that forehand, that's just the shot he wants. His only win over Pete Sampras came almost 4 years ago indoors on carpet. When he straight set at Sampras, best of 5-set final. And he does have the type of body that can bounce back quickly. It appears that at least so far he's doing just that. I would have thought for sure he would have been more of a sluggish start. This may throw off his whole routine with the towel and the socks, though, because he can't be sweating that much.
Yeah,
at least not yet.
Right. So far, he's just the shirt. He hasn't gone to the socks.
I told him in the locker room. I said, "Listen, you gotta ease off on that sock thing. You know, unless you get an endorsement down there, then I'll be impressed."
Did he laugh?
He did laugh.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Because that routine, I'm guessing, must have started around the time he started winning a lot of matches. Either it's Cincy or Indy, one of the two.
Well, he's only lost 5 points on his serve so far as Rusedski, and he's up 5-2. Break in hand for first.
5-2.
Back now in the grandstand where Thomas Enqvist serving at 3-5 first set.
And Enqvist is losing it out here. Mac, you're gonna love this.
Emotionally, Jim?
You're gonna lose. You're gonna love this, Mac. The last point, the same linesman on that down line in Enqvist's backhand corner missed another call. And Enqvist just had about a minute-and-a-half conversation with Steve Ulrich in the chair about it. I mean, he is doing everything he can not to lose it, but he's losing it anyway. He's already got the warning. The next one's a point penalty.
Something tells me he's got a little history going with Ulrich.
Well, I mean, Ulrich's been around since he was born, basically, so even I've got history with Ulrich.
Even I've got it. That's how far back he goes.
Exactly. Well, he's rallied, won the last 2 points, so he's up to 40-30. Still down a break. And this is so out of character for Enqvist. Normally really mellow on the court.
Where's Michael Barkin? Is he working tonight? Don't tell me he's got a night off.
Summer's around.
Okay, we got Summer. That's
Summer,
even better. So
yeah.
we got to get Summer down there to Thomas's coach and find out what's going on with Tomas up there.
Yeah. A little edgy.
Well, we like the fire.
She's got the rain delay edge.
That could be it.
Yes.
No. There you. I think we've come up with an answer.
Let's still get Summer out here, though.
Yes.
I'm a little bored out here, frankly. She might spice things up. could spice things up if Haas was wearing that short sleeve shirt you've been wearing, Mac.
They won't let him.
Looks good on you, though.
You been wearing it, John?
Yeah, absolutely.
For you.
I'm trying to support Tommy. Back to Louis Armstrong now, where Rusedski's going to try to serve this out. Sampras is just held. I think most people, about 99.9%, would prefer to see Tommy wear it. Myself included, but I'm there for support. Well, there's the first backhand winner Pete's hit today.
Block 15.
Chance for Sampras.
He's got to appreciate the fact that Rusedski missed a couple first serves, give him a real shot at winning some points, and he can't ask for a better chance than this. Excellent half volley by Rusedski there. You can see he has a massive grip change, but let's see how much you can do it in your sleep. He did it, flicked the wrist on the forehand side. That ball bounced just where he wanted it. Well, it was a 70-mile-an-hour second serve, a pretty tentative volley. Still, Pete couldn't win that point. Pulled that forehand wide.
Well, but Rusedski was fearless, wasn't he? Barged in right behind that.
But he should keep coming. That would send the wrong message. At least I would think to Sampras. So he started staying back in that second serve. Here's Rusedski now. It's set point. Just 25 minutes now in this match.
Mile-an-hour serve.
No, it certainly wasn't 127 mile seconds here. I can assure you that. And surprisingly, it's Pete's forehand that's let him down in this game. He would have been sitting on the sidelines right now, back in this first set. Again, forehand in the middle of the net. That could have been long. That was awful close. Break out the Macam, Harold Heck. Oh, that's right. We're not allowed to have it on USA. I forgot.
We have you. How come we can't have your can?
Hopefully you will agree that 1 out of 2 isn't bad.
That's a gift that Sampras will gladly take. Second double.
Certainly making Rusedski think right now. Again, it's the backhand. It gives him this chance to get back on serve. Not surprisingly, he tries to fire one right up the middle to Pete's forehand. Oops. So what does Rusedski do? He hits a kick serve to Pete's forehand. And again, Pete with a tentative return. That's got to be surprising, though. Pistol Pete right now. The forehand's not in working order. The backhand certainly has started to collect.
It's an unusual sequence.
We'd have to dig deep in the books to see a game like this. A second chance to break. Shows you Rusedski is a bit unsure of himself. Certainly that serve starting to tail off here. He's staying back and dumping a approach shot in the middle of the net. But I must say it's nice to be calling live tennis.
Oh, Rusedski not able to close out the set. Sense there's that Sampras support.
He'll take that gimme from Rusedski.
15 love.
Each player had one break yesterday, and Sampras' break came at a huge time when Rusedski was serving for the set. And this is a match where obviously if both players serve to their abilities, we don't expect to see many breaks.
Well, we did see a break each last night before rain interrupted play. As a matter of fact, Pete saved a couple set points. Seems a long time ago. The four-time champion Pete Sampras at 31 now. This is what's amazing, that he came into the U.S. Open at 20-17 for the year. Now Rusedski's ornery. I saw him
14-15
before the match started. He's got a couple excellent points. One is they got to get these guys some indoor practice.
This is Rusedski saying this? Yeah.
Well, he's saying,
right.
In essence, for me to tell the USTA, which I think he's absolutely right, as Sampras does level the first set at 5-all, this is the only major tournament where they don't have indoor facility. Now, admittedly, in Paris, they don't have indoor clay, but they do have indoor courts. Wimbledon does. Australian Open has indoor facilities. They have indoor facilities here, 12 courts they use for, I guess, you hear this word? Corporate sponsorship things. How about a couple of those for practice courts? Because these guys have not warmed up sufficiently. And let's face it, Ted, this is a monumentally important match for really both players.
I did not see Rusedski, but Pete did hit an hour ago in Ash Stadium as the blowers were going and they were drying the exterior areas of the court. Pete went out and hit on Ash Stadium court, so he got a bit of a warm-up.
So he's been on the bike twice and hit a few balls. There's probably a line of players trying to get on Arthur Ashe, and guess who gets preference? Well, he should, Pete Sampras. He's actually not too thrilled about that.
And I was looking around the television cameras while
these courts are being dried, a lot of players were out on the wet outer courts just trying to hit.
Yeah. You can imagine that's not the best practice. You're more concerned about not getting injured, but you'd like to hit a couple balls.
So a Canadian fan there talking to Rusedski.
Well, to me, it'll be fitting at this stage, given the difficulties of the situation and coming out and trying to perform at the top level, tennis to take this to a first set tiebreaker. These guys will then have a chance to be a little bit warmer for this all-important first set.
Well done. 2 points in a row at net by Rusedski. And so we'll have the conclusion of the first set next.
6-5.
Well, Pete Sampras trying to get this set to a tiebreak. Survived a game where Rusedski served at 5-3 last night.
Thank you.
This is a virtual replay of last night. People are coming into the Louis Armstrong Stadium trying to get seats. There's a lot of fantastic matches about to be played. Men's third round. They're desperate to get those matches in.
Correction,
Correction there. The women have all been sent home. Well, my understanding is, except for Davenport and Farina Ilia, every other women's player has been
which
sent
leads
home.
me to my next point. And this is the USTA. Let's face it, the reason why that match is being played is to get one match in the day session, so they can get their money, which I think is a really absurd thing at this point. The priority's got to get in order.
Well, other than that match, they're playing men's matches on every available court to try to get the draw caught up.
Well, that allows people that once again they have to finish one match on the stadium court. Whatever the rules, the machinations of the USTA, and we all know it's a business. But USTA, by the way, is a non-profit organization. All the money, as far as I understand, should go back into the sport of tennis. So whether you make $80 million or $75 million at the end of the day, if that's what we're talking about, seems minuscule compared to the importance of maintaining credibility with your fans, some of which came out for 40 minutes with the Serena Williams situation yesterday.
That was painful.
The same situation today. I mean, hopefully, God, I'm going to cross my fingers now. We don't have more rain. That needs to be dealt with and dealt with immediately. The fan has to be thought of first. Excuse me. Can there be a tie between the fan and the players?
Well, no, I think you were right the first time. Right? I mean, the fans make this work.
But what they should also do, let's face it, these players have been sitting in the locker room for upwards of 9 hours, stressing, wondering when they're going to get on the court. You got to give them a couple minutes to warm up. You got to let them get on the practice court. This is way too tough a situation.
And the dilemma facing these players and all in the bottom half of the men's draw now is the reality of, at best, 5 matches in 7 days to win the U.S. Open.
Which, when you talk about people struggling with injury, you got Tim Henry with the shoulder, Tommy Haas with the arm, Kierton's come off surgery. It's got to be a tall task for Pete to come back.
And beautifully done.
Well, it was beautifully done, especially if he meant to do it. But he hit that off the top of the racket. You talk about a lucky shot. This is set point now. The third one for Rusedski.
Wow, from 30 love.
You dream about hitting miss hits like that, Ted. If you want to know why Greg Rusedski has not done better than that one U.S. Open final and one Wimbledon quarter, you just saw the shot that's his Achilles heel, that backhand, particularly passing shot. Unable to consistently make a mark with that shot.
When you said this last night, you expect in this match both guys are going to try to follow in a serve and volley to each other's backhand.
Without question, although we did note, surprisingly, that Pete at 5-3 played an incredible service game, a return game off his backhand, and struggled on the forehand side. I don't suspect that will happen again. When's the last time, Ted, you've been covering probably 15 years now, you've been covering this U.S. Open, that you saw Pete Sampras hit a half volley and then move to the baseline?
Yep.
I think that may have been the first.
And in his match at Wimbledon where he lost to George Bostel. You saw the movement issues that Pete has addressed really come into play.
Well, that's being tentative in the confidence. Maybe he's still a little bit stiff just getting out there. Lord knows we'd understand that. I think that Lindsay will be through that fairly shortly. But he's also sending a message to Rusedski that he's unsure of himself. Let's see if that continues as this match progresses.
Now Sampras saved one set point here. He saved a couple last night and has pushed this to a tiebreak.
He's got incredibly tight rackets. Pete Sampras, a stiff frame that he uses, and you got to be strong on the upper body to hit volleys like that.
And there's another shocking, the Sampras ledger there, shocking. But an idea what's plagued him this year. Pete has played a lot of close matches and lost more than you'd ever expect.
Rusedski as well with the big serve, the attacking game. Usually that does better than people that stay back in a tiebreak. Not when you throw in double faults.
That's 4 in the first set for Rusedski.
Including one of those was when he had set point about 24 hours ago. Another forehand he's pulled up on. The energy's not there the way it was, Ted. I think it's because the fans are just not sure what's going to happen weather-wise. They're just a little bummed, like we all are, that we haven't gotten more play.
And last night, there was terrific energy.
Speaking of someone who looks a little bummed right now. We've talked about an excellent athlete like Greg Rusedski is, and he's got a big forehand. So he's got time to line that up. Surprise Pete there with the inside out.
But, you know, last night we saw on tape Sampras Agassi from last year. Now, I don't think there was a single point in any of the 4 tiebreaks where Agassi won 2 points on Pete's serve. I may be wrong, but I don't believe so. And Greg Rusedski just did that.
Well, there was a couple. It was weird, some weird tiebreakers there. The unexpected, expecting the unexpected. It did happen. Pete had 3 set points in the first set tiebreaker and lost it. 6-3 he was up. There, I mean, that's not what Rusedski wanted. He's just looking to get the ball in the court. That was a 70-mile-an-hour serve for Rusedski that missed well long.
So it's 3-2 Rusedski, and the 2 Sampras points are double faults. 7 points wins the tiebreak. Must win by 2. And the switch ends at 3-all.
But I'm going to point out again how incredibly difficult it is for these 2 players. Number one, it's pretty cool out there, so they've barely broken a sweat. If they have, they've almost lost it. You see, Pete's got a little bit sweat working. It's in the tiebreaker already. They haven't been out there more than 10 minutes. The tension is high. The irritability level extremely high right now. They're probably hungry. They haven't eaten in hours. That or they've just eaten and they're full. It's very difficult to time this one. Line is going to have to figure out something. 3-all break the first set.
But the one thing, John, you would expect that both of these players have a lot of experience in these types of situations from Wimbledon. That's what this feels like. Doesn't make it easier.
They've certainly had their moments over there. This is eerily similar. Pete put a little extra mustard on that second serve.
4-3.
Maybe not quite as
Sampras.
high as he's shown in the past, but plenty good enough to win that point. Pressure now on Rusedski.
So 4 straight points for Sampras, starting with the double fault. Rusedski's serve isn't just speed, is it,
No,
John?
it's not. I mean, he places the ball well. He's got a lot of different spins working. He's coming at you from 6 foot 4 inch height. And he's in trouble now. Sampras has 2 set points.
And Pete with his 4th ace.
I must say, for Pete Sampras, who can rely on just going out there and winging it so often, he's really prepared. He's jumped on the bike a couple times. He's hit some balls, and it may have paid off for him just in the nick of time here.
And it does. Boy, Rusedski will rue this lost opportunity. And Sampras, as he did against Andre last year, wins another big tiebreak. Takes the first set.
I'm realistic. You know, I know what I have left. I feel like I've got some years left in me, but I'm not going to play until I'm 34, 35. I mean, I don't have that in me. I don't have that Jimmy Connors mentality to play it at 38. That's just not, you know, I've done enough in the game to feel good about, but I still feel like I've got 1 or 2 more majors left in me.
Hey, welcome back live to New York. Pete Sampras returning to that match in a moment. Ted Robinson, John McEnroe talking about the effect of rain on the schedule. If Sampras is to get to the final again, he'd have to play 5 matches over 7 days, including the one he's involved in right now against Greg Rusedski. And in today's New York Post, Rusedski quoted as saying that a lot of the guys in the locker room feel they can beat him now, referring to Sampras, that the invincibility isn't there. And, John, that's something you've talked about before and players have said, but is this bad timing for Rusedski to be quoted on the day that he's continuing
Well,
with Sampras?
he's Mr. Bad Timing. You know, he's a confident man, but at the same time, he's looking for a little edge, throw Pete a little dart there. And he also mentioned in the same article that if Pete lost this match, he dropped about 50 in the world. Well, that, if anything, is going to be I would think, a little inspiration for Pete. But I mean, he's heard it before from Greg. This is nothing new. Ultimately, that's bravado from Rusedski. I mean, you don't take much of it too seriously, but you know, Rusedski is a smart guy. This guy's been around a while, and he's right. What he says, that is absolutely true. The fact is, he doesn't have the invincibility. Should he have said it right now? Who knows if he did say it then, for number one? Maybe he said it a month ago, 2 months ago. Did he say it last night to the press? Because I'm assuming he didn't speak to anyone in the press yesterday. I mean, just to give you the other side of the coin, the odds are slim and none. He said it.
He talked about the ranking after in the press conference after his 2nd round win, after the Sri Chapman win. The invincibility quote I don't know about, but you know, I look at Pete and I wonder why in the name of goodness would he have any care what his ranking is after all he's accomplished. I would think Pete would be caring only about one thing, that's playing in the majors.
I remember Lendl years ago when he came on the scene, and particularly at the end, all he talked about and all he said he cared about was the majors. I come from a different position. I thought it was important what your ranking was, and that in tennis, if there were 4 tournaments, it would be all about the majors. Yes, the majors are by far the biggest tournament. I was offered guarantees to the Australian Open to the mid-80s. Now, I do that, give them great credit for coming back strong and making it a big event. But you don't know in 20 years' time what necessarily, if it's absolutely going to stay the same, that these are going to be the end-all and be-alls. But you do know who's number one at the end of the year.
Right.
And I think Pete has pride. He doesn't want to, when he's introduced, yes, he'll be always introduced as the 13-time Grand Slam champion. He's certainly one of the greatest players of all time. Does he want to end the year 50-16 world? Of course not. He's played 16 or 17 tournaments, Ted. Why in the world would he do that? Do you think it's because he needs the money?
No.
Okay, well then he's getting a lot of money to play some tournaments.
40-15.
Will you say you blame him for playing it? No. Does he need the money? No.
I'm assuming he played that many because he's had a lot of early round losses in part and needed more matches. Working in confidence.
Maybe he says that, but do you think that, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think that Pete Sampras, who's won 4 U.S. Opens and 13 over Grand Slams, needed to play a match in Hamlet the week before the tournament? That had he won some matches there, that would have actually helped him here, given the fact that you saw the way he played the first 2 rounds?
Well, I'm assuming that the answer has to be yes, or else the only other reason is he played for money.
But well, that's what I'm saying. But so he probably convinced himself that it would be a good idea to play and perhaps win. But he also said, hey, listen, I'm going to take the money. Now, he doesn't need the money, nor should he be. It's not that I'm criticizing him. It's just it comes into play, just like, to me, the rankings come into play. Okay. Well, so why in the world should he care?
And we all know Pete has cared. I mean, look, here's a man that obsessively pursued that dream and achieved it. Finished, was it 6 years in a row, finished as #1?
6 or 7.
Which I don't think will ever be challenged.
And I'll give you an example of someone you know, Keith Hernandez, who works with you at the Mets.
Right.
Now, Keith Hernandez is a borderline Hall of Fame player. The last couple of years he played, because his average dropped a little bit. You see Rusedski's quickness there. He's got a chance here to break quickly. He ended up his career a .299 lifetime hitter. Do you think that Keith Hernandez, who's a great hitter, you see Rusedski with the winner there, wanted to be a 300 hitter? It's only 1 point. Well, I think it mattered a great deal to him.
Absolutely. Well, because you can just blame official scoring for that.
Well, that's another issue. Just like I blame the umpire.
Sampras blasts in his 7th ace.
Pete Sampras has got so much pride. He's figured out a way, despite being introverted and a guy you can't figure out in a lot of ways, to dig deep inside his soul on a number of occasions to pull out major events.
Yep. 2 big serves there.
Welcome back live to New York. You saw the trophy. Pete Sampras has won that 4 times. Tiffany will inscript the name of this year's winner. Davenport has advanced already tonight. Capriati, Agassi, Roddick, all their matches coming up. Let's get back to Ted and John for more on Pete Sampras and Greg Rusedski.
Well, the big news, while Lindsay Davenport was wrapping up her match, Rusedski broke Sampras. He left her at 30 all, and Rusedski won the next 2 points, and now a point from 3-1 second set.
Unfortunately, he's down 40-love this game. Let's be honest, he was lucky to win the first set. Rusedski served for it, had 2 set points, a set point later on at 30 all, and I think this is going to be a struggle for Pete. He stayed back on his serve, missed a forehand from the baseline, got tentative, missed a pretty easy backhand volley for the Rusedski break, and now is trying to get things going again. Rusedski, surprisingly, at least to me, staying back on his second serve. Perhaps still a little stiff, perhaps trying to find some rhythm. I don't think with the capabilities he's got on the serve, it's a very good idea. But as we've seen, particularly in the tiebreak, he's struggling with the serve. He's thrown in a number of doubles already. That's 7. And that means Sampras still in the game here, back to deuce.
And the doubles, John, seem to be coming on important points, not doubling at 40 love.
We'll give you an idea, if we didn't know this already, which any tennis fan probably does, how tough Sampras is in the big points over the years, that he's won so many matches, points, games, you name it, with that serve, the guts to go for it, and he's phenomenal ability to get himself out of trouble. Most players, even some very good players, because Rusedski is a very good player, crumble under the pressure.
Right, comes back there. 2 big first serves. And a hold for 3-1.
There's Rusedski.
Well, tonight we'll invite your questions again if you log on to usanetwork.com. You have a chance to ask the tennis experts your question from Expedia.com. We'll answer one later on tonight in tennis.
Well, the other thing Pete does is even when he does go through a lull, I mean, this is a sign of a great player to shrug it off, not get too negative. Unfortunately, we've seen more of that recently with Pete, because after all, he's a human being and his confidence has waned. But over the course of his career, the Agassi match, a perfect example. I don't know if you remember last night when it got to the 4-set tiebreaker. He got himself in a position at 6-3 to serve it out with as big a game as Pete's got, 2 serves. He loses both points, yet steals himself and wins the match in 7-5 in the tiebreaker.
See, so he did lose both points on a serve at one time. There you go.
That feels good. Anytime you hit it, you can find that type of placement and angle and touch.
15-all.
And I think that's what's surprised everyone so much at Wimbledon this year. It was the most visible sign on the court we've seen of Pete's frustration.
We're talking about the serve. He's like taking his time, huh?
Go within John, Greg.
You can write that off to sitting around the last couple days, because it'd be incredible if these players tonight aren't irritable.
Oh, what a great get, though, by Rusedski.
15 seconds.
People have seen enough of Rusedski, I think, to know that he is an excellent athlete at 6'4". He showed you there how much ground he can cover. But Pete still should not have missed that ball. In trouble again on his serve at 15-30.
So what was Pete's complaint about? Well,
as he was about to serve, that Rusedski suddenly held him up and sort of squeaked his sneakers a little bit and stalled, in essence, just holding him up. Which is, the rules state you're supposed to play at the server's pace. So if the server looks up and he starts to serve, he should have to play from that point. But that's rarely enforced. As you may know, Ted, I have a bit of devil in me, so I'm all for this little gamesmanship going on. Increase the intensity out there.
The winners and the errors both almost double the numbers for Sampras as Rusedski.
That's where Pete Sampras looked a little old there and sluggish. I don't know. Once again, if he's stiff. Look who's here getting ready.
See, this is over in Ash, and Andre Agassi doing the same thing, trying to hit a few balls before the night session begins in the stadium.
He's one guy who's not complaining that there's time between the sessions. Getting himself ready. This is a second serve now. He's going to have to break out a new racket because apparently he's broken his string on a break point.
Which would you would assume would mean the set. Sampras is broken here.
Well, you would assume that, although one break. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Pete going down a couple of times in that game and not getting the volleys, so 2 breaks for Rusedski in the second. Now, this has not been a good second set for Sampras. He squeaked through the first in a tie break, but now Rusedski serving at 4-1 with 2 breaks in his pocket here in the second.
Well, the bad news is he's struggling big time, Pete Sampras. The good news is he figured out some way, somehow. Maybe Greg gave it to him, whatever the reason, he pulled out first set out. So he's got time to regroup.
That shot slipped at all? A great running forehand of his.
Well, it's
John?
not what it was. Not at the moment, really. There's no part of his game that's as good as it was. And if it was, he'd be winning these tournaments still. That's why he won 13. He's not moving quite as well. He's not. His confidence level's not there.
Now, see, if Rusedski is going to continue to serve his backhand, Pete handles it pretty well at this point.
He's done a better job on the backhand so far, and this is what Paul Annacone wants him to do: is take a swing at that, get out some of that tension, go to the low part of the net. That's lower there when you go cross court. That's a higher percentage play.
See, they're playing again on the grandstand on serve in the second set. Jim Courier's there. We'll be checking in with Jim in a moment. So 3 matches underway. They really need to get all of the men's third round. The men's bottom half of the draw has to all play, and I would think they'd all have to play before Agassi plays tonight, because Andre's playing a 4th round match.
Well, they're out in the outside courts.
Right.
I can assure you they ain't going to move Andre for some of those other matches.
Oh, great. Sampras trying to get 1 break back.
Well, maybe the second set isn't over.
13-14.
I think it'd be virtually impossible for Sampras to break twice here to get back in the second set, but stranger things have happened. Especially if Greg still got the willies on that second serve. It's called out just wide. I can tell you one thing, Sampras should hope Rusedski doesn't get his rhythm on his serve, because he's struggling on his serve. He's not getting into a flow yet.
Another great backhand return. And John, I would say we've had more break chances already over the 2 nights here than I thought we'd see.
Well, you get a truer bounce on this hard court. The court's not playing as quickly as it has in the last couple years. That's going to result in more chances, particularly when they've had to come on and off the court. These 2 veterans have in this 3rd round match.
Think about the other big lefty server that Pete's had some terrific matches against, mostly at Wimbledon. I mean, we'll follow this up in a moment. And Ivan Isavic. Is this comparable for him, facing Rusedski's serve?
Very well. The 2 biggest lefty serves ever. none. And I can't think of lefties that ever served as big as these guys. So,
and on the hard court, does it make a difference? Rusedski serve any?
If those two guys are on
Sampras.
a reasonably quick court, it's very, very tough to break him. Rusedski seems to me, watching him over his career, more comfortable in hard courts than Ivanisevic. There goes one of the breaks.
One back for Sampras. I'm amazed. A set and a half, and we've got 5 breaks of serve.
He leads.
But
4-2.
now, naturally, when you watch Sampras, you assume that he's weaker on the backhand side, which, by the way, he hasn't been in this match. Who's this guy? Captain Patrick McEnroe. Checking out the action. And obviously, these two big lefties, you mentioned Ivanisevic and Rusedski, naturally can take that ball out wide to his backhand. But once again, I'll tell you this, I don't care if you're righty or lefty, if those two are serving well, you're not going to break them. I don't care who played Ivanisevic on grass, they weren't going to break his serve if he was on. Rusedski's heart rate has jumped about 25 beats right now because he's going to remember that he blew a break in the first set. He's already lost one here. He's going to be tight coming out at 4-3 because it would be make him sick to his stomach if he were to lose this set.
These two haven't played in 2.5 years. The last match, Sampras leads the all-time 8-1, but there's not a lot of recent history in that matchup. Rusedski's only win was indoor in '98. He backs up the break with a hold. Rusedski still has 1 break in hand in the second set. Well, here are the night session ticket holders filing into Ash Stadium. We've got a great night ahead, assuming that the weather gods cooperate. And right now at Armstrong, in fact, I'm sure there are a lot of day session ticket holders here right now because this is a tremendous battle in the second set. Rusedski serving at 4-3. Jennifer Capriati will be next in Ash Stadium. Andy Roddick and Andre Agassi are scheduled both to play later tonight. And a ton of men's matches on all of the other courts.
Can you see this word we've gotten? We got a USTA.
You know what I love, John?
Getting it together here.
The power I have. I say something and Arlen listens. Just kidding.
This is good stuff.
We've just been given some word from the USTA and its executive Arlen Cantarian about taking care of the fans who endured all this horrible rain the last couple of days. And basically what's going to happen doesn't really matter to most of you home, other than to let you know the USTA is going to allow people for the sessions that have been affected by rain this week to exchange their tickets for sessions coming up the next 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Tonight, Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday. And this is the day sessions.
Right.
Or tonight. We should point out day sessions. They need to bring their ticket stubs. And the stadium individual ticket buyers also invited to these same sessions. Bring the ticket stub. Hopefully they haven't thrown it away in disgust. You got to hold on to that.
Oh, another. How many backhands he hit like that?
31.
stat board says 5 backhand winners for Pete. It does seem like more, doesn't it?
He's been far superior on that backhand side. And Ted, believe it or not, he's 2 points away from getting the second break back. Also, full tournament subscribers are offered free grounds passes. We got to get them on this one, though. We can't let them talk. Or prominent seat for the Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday
Promenade
day.
Seat, right.
Promenade seat.
Promenade,
okay,
right.
Does that mean bring your binoculars?
No, I think the
Just
promenade,
kidding, Arlen.
Game, Rusedski.
So Rusedski holds his serve. But I would say for any of you who might be in the metropolitan area and were affected by this, I'm sure if you log on to usopen.org, the website will have all that information. Find out how you can get your tickets for the day sessions tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday.
Meanwhile, Sampras still going to have to figure out a way how to get that second break back. Good news, this place almost full now, Ted. That is good to see. The New Yorkers are a resilient bunch. They've shown that after last year. They love their tennis. This is what the players really appreciate, to see this stadium full. Pete can just get that forehand going. This has been so lethal in the past.
15 love.
And they see himself in the 4th round.
Well, these fans have been tremendous, John, because I never, in 16 years here, I can never recall this kind of rain. I don't know if you've been here longer.
Never can remember. I've been in 25 years playing or talking. Babbling.
That's love.
They're ready to go, rain or shine. Is it still light out? Those are strong lights.
You may have an endorsement deal.
We may have 7 men's 3rd round matches on the court at the same time in a few more minutes, which is, I would say, unprecedented here at the U.S. Open.
Well, the players are all, as Sampras blasts in his 8th ace, the players are all, both men and women, are going to be faced with bunching up matches now. But the priority tonight again is to get the men's bottom half 3rd round in. And these players are involved in that potential of 5 matches in 7 days. All right, so Rusedski will come back and try to serve for the 2nd set. And while they sit here, let's go over and join Jim Courier in the grandstand, where Tommy Haas, the 3 seed, is playing Tomas Enquist. Jim.
Well, Haas just broken at 4-3, leading to this game, and here's set point.
Game, 2nd set.
Both guys edgy. They're both irritable over here, but it's a set apiece on the grandstand. We're the people over here. Some tennis.
All right. Well, Enquist was irritable last night, if I remember. Yep. He's still irritable.
And that was good to see. You know, Tomas getting pumped up.
Yeah, they're both a little irritable.
All right, we're back with more tennis on USA. Back in Louis Armstrong Stadium, Rusedski trying to level the match at a set apiece. 15 love.
That was either a bad bounce or a wicked kick on that serve, or a combination of both. But that ball jumped over Sampras' shoulder. And
well, he gave a nasty look down at the court, did Pete?
Not the time he wanted to see that ball bounce up so high. You can see why Rusedski is a tough guy to break on a regular basis, because that was another second serve that had a wicked kick to it. He's a good volleyer as well. He's got his head on straight. He's not the guy you want to play early in a tournament. Here's Rusedski at set point.
Long, so Rusedski this time held strong.
6 games to 4.
And he has leveled this set
Once at all.
at 1 apiece. They can see how hard they're working out there to get those outer courts ready. They need to get people on those courts, get matches going on a most unusual. In fact, for the first few years of the U.S. Open here, there was no Monday night session, no Labor Day night session. They added it, and it turns out to it turns out to be tonight a spectacle. Parade of stars.
Sampras, by the way, held there easily. Rusedski got a bum call. Way out of Sampras' forehand, but it was 40 love, so I'm sure Sampras would have held anyway. Linesman, it looked like Rusedski was in the way. That's where these lines look. I didn't see it. All right? I didn't see it. Play a let. Just don't put your hands out and pretend you saw it in. Sampras with a good start here on the Rusedski serve. He's continuing to have success on that backhand side.
Fifth ace for Rusedski.
Registered 103, but I can assure you it was a lot harder than that. It went by Sampras in a hurry. Rusedski's rhythm's not there in his serve. He's winning some points, but he's chosen to stay back now more and more frequently. Pete just floated that return, but Rusedski has certainly not got a great backhand passing shot. Pete, there's a volley Pete's got to do more with. If he wants to get far in this tournament, he's got to have an answer for that pass there. He floated that volley, which allowed Rusedski to scoot up and hit the forehand winner rather easily.
14-15.
Wind's starting to kick up. Well, that makes the level of play more difficult to be high.
Yeah, two guys have been around. Rusedski, in fact, will turn 29 on Friday. Finalist here 5 years ago. And he lost to Patrick Rafter.
That was nice to talk to Patrick.
Yes.
Was it last night? I can't remember. It's so long since last night.
I mean, you don't remember rain delays? They're all running together.
That's what Pete needs to get that forehand going. You want to talk about Pete Sampras? He was far back as 90. He was 5 in the world. Finished 91-6, 92-3. And there was that run 6 years in a row. Finished at #1 in the world. 99 in 2000. Well, still #3 in the world. Last year, 10 in the world. So even last year, we would have thought, what's happened to Sampras? And he did get to the finals of the Open.
1-1.
Another hold for Rusedski.
But, as we all know, has not won a tournament in a couple of years now since Wimbledon 2000. That's one of Rusedski's best volleys he's hit today.
And remember, Rusedski's coming into this Open, having won a tournament 2 weeks ago in Indianapolis, and winning in August matches against each of the top 3 players in the world. He beat Hewitt, he beat Safin, and he beat Tommy Haas. That put his, not that his confidence needed any help, but it did add to it.
He beat Hewitt on a relatively slow hard court, which is quite a task. Oh, I'm sorry. He beat Hewitt at Indianapolis.
He beat Safin in Cincinnati.
Which to me would be difficult as well on a slow court. Tommy Haas, who we saw briefly. You wonder how he's holding up, given the difficulty of this situation, getting the arm warm. Well, he's gotten back on serve in the thank you, Greg Pickard. Quick update from Haas.
Which, by the way, we should thank our entire crew, all of our technicians, many of whom are colleagues from CBS, for their incredible yeoman work. We continue to destroy the TV listings. We come on at 6 o'clock now, and everyone's...
You mean that classic channel, CBS? They've been unlucky the last couple days.
Yeah, the crews have done a wonderful job of hanging in here. Very little break the last couple of days. Our night program produced by Greg Pickard, directed by Bruce Troy.
So you have CBS, which has been here for, I think, it was 35 years. It's 7 hours of coverage yesterday, 7 hours today, 20 minutes of live tennis.
40-15.
20 minutes of live tennis. Now that's unlucky.
And for those of us who've experienced Wimbledon in this profession, you do get used to that. When we empathize, we know what it feels like.
You never get used to it.
Well, you never like it, right? So, John, here's my point. When is the cry going to start? Dome, Flushing Meadows.
That's the next thing. We've talked about it already. We mentioned it on the air early yesterday.
No, you did.
I did.
Because it's in Wimbledon. Every year we talk about it.
But Australia has 2 courts that are covered now. But we'll talk about that more when we come back.
So Sampras holds. Third set begins on serve.
Sampras leads 2-1.
Ted and John.
And here we are on serve, third set. Set apiece. Pete Sampras serving at 15 all.
15-13.
And now Sampras only his second double fault. Rusedski's had 7. And a couple cost Rusedski the first set. Rusedski came back to take the second set 6-4.
Now, I used to have a notoriously bad habit of tying, retying those sneakers, wanting to feel just right. Also a good time when you're down 15-30, whether you're nice and sure to play this all-important point. Speaking of guy who's finicky.
Right. Now Rusedski can't complain with the socks.
No, he can't
tug and the towel.
He mentioned to me in the locker room that I had a couple of ticks of my own, which was certainly true.
See, he's not bashful about it. He's willing to get on you, huh?
He comes back at you. He's a serve volleyer at heart.
Canadian born and raised. Mother was from England. And adopted England as his home country in 1995. And now a little gamesmanship again here as Pete was getting ready to serve.
Pete wanted nothing more to blow an ace by him right there. Rusedski tries to get on his nerves.
40 seconds.
I mean, even though that wasn't a blistering, what a tough second serve that was.
But the 30 all, certainly a return that Rusedski was just trying to get in the court, clip the tape. Not happy with that effort.
Right. There's your blast.
There it is.
10th ace. So it is on serve, third set. Back inside Louis Armstrong Stadium, Ted Robinson, John McEnroe for our entire USA team. And we are in the beginning of what should be a marvelous Monday night here at the start of week 2. And these men are still just in the third round. One set apiece. Now 30 love for Rusedski.
It looks like these two veterans have started to settle down and get into the routine on the serve. No breaks in this set.
And really, it looks more like the set we expected, John, were not even a threat. Pete did get to 15-30 in his last game.
Down 40 now, not probably a bad time if you're going to do that, to step in and really rip one as hard as you can. That one way long.
So 4-all third set. Michael Barkan.
All right, Ted, with Paul Annacone, Pete's coach, and when you look at this matchup, 8-1 in favor of Pete. How has that been the case? How does he match up favorably against Greg?
Well, Greg, that's a good statistic, but Greg's got such a big serve and a big game that I think there's probably been a lot of tight matches in that 7-victory margin for Pete. But, you know, Pete's usually a little bit more solid than Greg. But like I said, when you have a serve like Rusedski's, you have to find a way to get on top of it. And Greg's played well so far this match.
Greg, I'm paraphrasing, there's a quote in today's paper saying if Pete lost, Pete would fall about 50th, and that he does not have the air of invincibility around him. Did you or Pete see that?
I didn't. And I don't know if Pete did or not. But, you know, Pete's obviously struggled with some confidence this year in these matches, but the guys are playing better, and a lot of that air of invincibility does come from winning. So I think Pete realizes what he needs to do to try to win, and in order to build the confidence up, he needs to win matches like this.
When you look ahead, I don't know if he looks ahead to his next match, but he could have Haas next, then Hemman, Korecha, Rada coming up. That's just to the quarterfinals. He's got a tough road to hoe, doesn't he?
Yeah, there's no easy matches. I didn't really look at his draw except here, and but those are big names in there, and hopefully he'll live to play another day.
Let's hope so. Thanks, Paul.
Ted. Go 30-15. Longtime coach reunited with Sampras this summer.
14-15.
After Pete made some changes, Capriati wins the first set, 6-1.
And this also may be a first, Ted, in USA Network history. When's the last time Agassi Sampras were playing at the same time? It's probably been a while.
Quarterfinals last year.
Oh, that's a good point. And when they weren't playing each other.
Right. Sorry, that rascal and me.
That was too easy. That was.
Yeah. But no, you're right. Hey, and especially on Monday night and Labor Day, tremendous. Okay, on serve here. Let's go to join Jim Courier in the grandstand.
Well, a triple set point now. Thomas Engqvist receiving serve, 5-3 in the third set. Now Haas serving at 15-40. These guys split the first two sets. There you see it. And Haas making a lot of errors here last couple of games.
Jim, it looks like to me that he's not serving at full speed. Ted and I watched a couple of games on the side there. He looks like he's not going for much.
Well, it's a little chilly, as you guys know, out here. And also, Tommy hates the wind, Mac. He says he just can't stand to play in the wind, and it's getting windier out here as we speak.
30.
He'll love that volley Engqvist just hit.
Yeah. Well, we should also point out that the first set was last night.
Right.
So since they played here tonight, it's been all Engqvist.
Ted on top of it. Well, we've been talking about the Haas shoulder problem over the course of the tournament. He and Tim Hemman both fighting shoulder problems, but I haven't really seen him going for his right arm at all in this match. He's just been making a slew of errors, and there you see Engqvist rips the winner. 2-1 out here. Engqvist in control.
Engqvist leads 2-1.
Well, number 2 Safin is out, number 4 Kafelnikov is out, and now number 3 Haas is in some trouble. Now Rusedski serving at 4-5 in the third here at Armstrong.
He's got to get that adrenaline going over there, Tom, if he wants to stay in this tournament, because he's not looking very positive. Engqvist is playing with some intensity, which is if you were to fault Thomas in the past, as you can see, he's in incredible shape, a big, strong guy. He hasn't played with the intensity that perhaps he could have, but he's shown in the Haas match that he has. Here's Sampras, First point under his belt. Rusedski trying to stay in this third set at 4-5.
15 all.
You have a 120-8-mile-an-hour serve coming right at you. He's not too easy to get out of the way.
And then his 7th ace. Again, 128.
It's hard not to be in front of a serve there at 105. You're looking, you've got to respect it. It's like, again, a baseball analogy. You got to expect the fastball to come and adjust if a curveball is thrown at you. Easier said than done.
It's nice to think of a 105-mile-an-hour serve as a changeup. That's when you know you're going good. Rusedski's a guy that battled in his earlier years a lot of injury problems, and a couple of years ago one of his ex-coaches, Pat Cash, hooked him up with a mate down in Australia that really helped rebuild his mechanics so that he could keep serving this way and not have a breakdown. 2 aces in the game, 8 in the match, and it's 5-all. Brad Langavad was the man that Rusedski worked with for several months there to really, the word they used was to rebuild his game. And he has stayed fairly injury-free since. Like Pete has done with Paul Annacone, Rusedski's reunited with his former coach, Sven Groeneveld.
Pat, by the way, still waiting for that check. The check in the old check in the mail.
I don't think FedEx has shown up at the door too soon.
Not real soon. They're trading some big bombs now, these two. He's worked with Brian Teacher, Rusedski, who helped get him here to the finals. He's worked with Tony Picard, who worked with Stefan Edberg, longtime coach. Sven Groeneveld, a couple of occasions. Pat Cash.
Oh, another backhand winner.
Well, both players doing the right thing there. It's Sampras who stays back on the serve. Rusedski comes right in. The approach shot just inside the baseline. Pete has the answer.
And
that's a lot of winners.
Right. But he also has twice as many errors. But he's got a game, so now it'll be Rusedski trying to get the third set to a breaker. Well, under the lights at Armstrong Stadium, I guess I have to say very quickly, happy birthday, Jimmy Connors. Does sitting in this stadium does sort of bring that memory back.
Sure does. The big 5-0 for Jimmy.
And now Rusedski serving to send the third set to a breaker.
Well, we had to expect at least one set where there'd be no service breaks.
And no chances. Nothing. That's the set that was on, according to form. 9 aces.
That's the hardest serve Rusedski's hit today at 133 miles per hour. And now tension time. Third set tiebreaker at 1 set all.
Lucy Rusedski looking on. Of course, this is where Sampras shined so brightly last year in his match with Agassi. He'd only lost 5 points on his serve in this third set.
Ball just wide. A lot of matches in progress. That's the one we just saw. Enquist 2-1. Kieran setting a break. What court is he on?
He was on court 10.
Amy Frazier up a break. You have to hate that if you're Rusedski, because he ran back hoping he'd get back in the point. How is Hanchikova reacting to that fall she took in the rain yesterday? Not too well, it appears. And he got to the ball, plus Pete's forehand was probably going out, which Rusedski was fully aware of as he bricked that volley. It was a double whammy. There it is. That feels awful good. Sampras fought that spin off, and how high that was up. Took it just early enough. He's got the crowd worked
Listen
up.
to the energy now. Listen to it. You can feel it.
In a commanding position here at 3-love. He's done so often. He's picked it up big time. And he later served out the first point. It was 134 miles an hour, just long. That one was in at 124. It's looking good right now. He's juiced up. The adrenaline is pumping here. Too juiced. Took his eye off the ball.
There ain't no clicking. He knows it.
He's going to have to laugh that one off. There's Pete as he comes to net. There's a new one. Goes in. Right here, he's just, it's 5-0. How could I possibly have missed that?
So instead it becomes 4-2 Sampras on Rusedski's 10th ace.
And if he loses this tiebreaker, the way Rusedski was thinking about some missed opportunities that first set, this will be something that will be tough for Pete to forget about. Still up 4-2.
Pace.
Sampras.
Even the way he struggled the last couple of years, and this year in particular, Ted, he just has so much confidence in that second serve. To go for it there. That was a huge second serve.
And there's a huge first. That's 129 for Sampras. And he has lost a lot of tie breaks, a lot of decisive tie breaks during the year. But tonight, in these 2 tie breaks, he looks to be the more confident player. And he's 2 for 2 in the tie breaks. And he's up 2-1 in sets. So 1 more set. Sampras hopes, and he'll finally get through a tough 3rd round foe.
And welcome back live to the U.S. Open here on USA. A couple of storylines we're keeping an eye on. Daniela Hentakova dropped the 2nd set against Justine Henin, asking for some help with that thumb. Gustavo Kuerten has won his 1st set, and Tommy Haas possibly being upset, trailing by a set. Thomas Enqvist taking the last 2 after Haas won the 1st set. We'll update you on all this. Jennifer Capriati playing as well later. Agassi and Roddick. But right now, let's go back to Ted and John, check in on Pete and Rusedski.
All right, Greg Rusedski at 30 love, first game of the 4th set. And tosses and Ted, what's this with these double faults? 8 now.
But Sampras has just been so strong. You can see the mental strength for a guy whose confidence may be wavering, supposedly. Mental strength in the 2 tiebreaks, John, has been pretty impressive.
I thought that, you know, over the years that I could play some pretty tough mental tennis. I don't feel like I match up to a Pete Sampras. The ability to hit some horrible shots like he did at 4-love in the tiebreaker and put that out of your mind, that get through that and still come through with some big points, pull back. Just I don't know how he's done that so consistently well over the years. It's an incredible quality. It's a special champion. It's not even a Grand Slam champion. It's beyond that, which I suppose explains why he's won 13 of them.
Pretty powerful compliment there. All right, from here, let's go back into Ash and Bill and Tracy. I think it was clearly that 9-hour match Massou played with Lopenti took it out of him.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
I'm sure the waiting around and having to start running quickly contributed to the demise of Massou. And here, since we last left you, Sampras down a break in the 4th set at 1-4.
Now 30-15, and this is the MO in this match. In 3 of the 4 sets, now Sampras has been down. He's had an early break go against him, and he's played from behind.
Well, as we pointed out a couple times, he's lucky to have won the first, down 3 different set points, pulled it out. He played a great 3rd set tiebreak. Right. Ted, he played with a lot of energy, but he came out inexplicably flat early in the 4th. He'll tell you this, he'll admit a horrendous couple points to lose serve, an easy volley, one of those ones we saw in the tiebreaker, a shot that easy, and a double fault. Now he's going to have to claw his way back in this set, or else it's going to go 5.
Now Pete did have 1 break point in the last game, 3-1 Rusedski. Pete had 1 break point, but Rusedski saved it and then went on to hold.
That's what a big serve can do, as we've seen so often from Sampras. Rusedski with a big serve gets him out of trouble. This is not the way Pete had planned it here early in this 4th set.
But it is strange how tennis goes, and you have the sense sitting here that Pete's been trailing the whole match. He's up 2 sets to 1, and he's going to have to he's going to have to break once in the next 2 Rusedski games, or we're going the distance.
So now Gustavo Kuerten gets to sit back in the locker room, wait for Sarge Sargsyan and Cheng Shulk and fight it out. That's a big break. Guy coming back from injury, had hip surgery. He deserves some breaks, first of all, because he's a great guy, wonderful man, actually. Beautiful spirit, and he's had his share of tough luck.
John, it's huge because you think that all of these men playing right now are going to be forced to come back and play tomorrow?
I absolutely believe that. I believe Kuerten is a favorite, has a great chance to get to the semis.
15 aces now of Rusedski.
Sargsyan and Shulkin, by the way, are I think 4-all first set when we last checked. Gonzalez, who's played some excellent. Fernando Gonzalez up a set and a break on Juan Carlos Ferrero.
When you talk about an open, if Gonzalez beats Ferrero in that quarter, the bottom quarter of the men's draw, the only seeds left would be Gonzalez 28 and perhaps Schalken 24. I mean, that's wide open. Rusedski with another hold. Sampras has the look of a guy who knows where he's headed.
Get ready for the 5th set.
Rusedski leads 5-2.
All right, so we've got more tennis coming up later in Ashe Stadium. Andre Agassi and Jan-Michael Gamble will do battle, and Michael Barkett is caught up with Gamble.
All right, Ted, Jan-Michael, this weather may have affected you and Andre the least. You're supposed to play today. It's pushed back to tonight. What has that meant for your schedule?
Well, you know, I knew the whole day that we might have a break in the weather at the end of the day, and just looking forward to playing. Obviously, if you think it's not going to happen, then it's tough mentally. So just knowing I was going to go out there and play today, you know, being positive about it, and I'm excited I got in the court.
You have been awesome so far this tournament. You're 2-8 against Andre, though. What do you draw for those 2 wins? What did you do that maybe you can bring back tonight?
Well, those 2 wins were a little while ago, but when I did beat him, I controlled the points, hit the ball very well, very good depth on the court. That's something I need to do, obviously, in the court. If I let him dictate the points, I'm in trouble out there running a lot of extra points down.
All right, Jan-Michael. Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you.
Jan-Michael Gamble, who will take the court. We're waiting for Andre. While we wait, let's throw it back to Ted and John.
Waiting for Andre.
Well, he's
Broadway production.
It's all right though, because if you got to wait, you wait, because it's a beautiful thing to watch, and then let him throw a little.
Yeah, I just have a feeling we're going to be here for a while tonight.
It's going to be a long, exciting night. Right. Usually you don't feel, but we're just getting going here. I'm pumped up.
I mean,
I'm glad to see these guys playing.
I mean, it's unbelievable and we're kind of finding out the schedule on the fly here. What's going to happen tonight? All right, Andre has been found. Michael.
All right, Teddy, thank you very much. Andre, how has your schedule been affected by the weather? You're supposed to play today, push back a little bit, but does that mess with you at all?
Well, I mean, I think it's affected all the guys. It's the thing. Everybody has to deal with it. And, you know, I've booked out these 2 weeks on my schedule, so I know where I want to be, so this is it.
I see the wrist is taped. How is it? And
yeah, it's good. No, I tape it for precaution before every match, so it's feeling good.
All right, good luck. Thanks a lot. There goes Andre Agassi. We'll go back to Ted and John.
So they're really playing all the men tonight as Gamble and Agassi take Ashe Stadium court. They're in the top half of the draw, and that's the 4th round. So this is the round of 16, and apparently they're going to try to play all those matches tonight.
Leighton Hewitt is scheduled to play in the grandstand after Tommy Haas and Thomas Anquist finish fighting it out. And you see these guys walking on the court. That should be an interesting affair. Gamble clearly going to have to play perhaps the best, if not the best he's ever played to get through tonight.
Andy Roddick is due here, and Armstrong next. Sampras serving for a point here for 3-5 in the 4th.
Andy Roddick will play Alex Correia. You remember that match he played here at Louis Armstrong? Pete Sampras?
Oh, does he? Yep.
We all do.
How about the match early this year? Davis Cup on grass. Sampras up 2 sets on Correia. They go to a 3rd set break. Correia wins the breaker and then wins the match in 5 on grass over Pete.
Well, it took so much out of him. It hurt his wrist, I believe, that he couldn't play the doubles or the singles on Sunday. Well, here's Sampras holding serve. Rusedski will serve to take this to a 5th and final set.
And remember, we can't emphasize enough because of the rain what demands will be made on these players. This is still just the 3rd round. These winners are going to almost likely have to come back and play again tomorrow. And then the survivors will play the quarters Thursday.
15.
The nice thing these matches all being played at night. It is humid, but it's temperature's very cool.
Yeah, without the wind, it would be really, really nice conditions to play under. Overpowering serve there from Rusedski. Put your seatbelts on. Looks like we're headed to a 5th set.
I mean, they get a test, John, of the fitness of Sampras. He worked so hard on his fitness during the down period last winter. Was in great shape early in the year.
Well, he's had 2 easy matches, and he's played a lot of long matches in the past, even on adrenaline at times, so I don't suspect it will be a problem here. Wait just a second here. Hold on. 4th set still not over. Sampras, we saw this early in the, I should say late in the 1st set to get him out of trouble. Some nice backhand returns. Same score at that time, 5-3. Rusedski couldn't put him away. He gave him a taste of his own medicine, the drop volley. Rusedski set point to level this match. Secret to Pete that when he doesn't go for the big bong up the middle, he's just going to try to swing it out wide to Sampras' backhand. He was ready for it.
It's the first point in this set that Rusedski's lost on his first serve, and it gets this game to deuce.
Interesting time to change rackets.
Well, these two have had a little something going here tonight. And Pete hadn't been very happy most of the night with some of the tactics, perhaps, if we can use that, tactics of Rusedski.
Well, the crowd's going to give him a bit of a hard time for that because they know the tennis and they know what he was trying to pull there. But not much anyone can do about it.
Hand to the forehead, the agony, missing that second serve return.
At the same time, though, Ted, Rusedski, who's known to play very, very quickly. I mean, it shows that he's out there trying to use the noggin to take that time to regroup. That's not something he does very often.
Well, welcome to Monday Night Tennis, everybody. It's a new USA program. And we got all of the big names. Davenport and Capriati have already won. Sampras going to a 5th set. Now Jim Courier on the grandstand.
This is set point for Haas. We've got 5 setters happening all over now. Good adjustment by Haas in this set. Standing way back to receive serve made the difference. A couple breaks of serve for him. And they're in the 5th. Early going right now. That was moments ago.
6 games to 4.
How about this? 2 5-setters. And waiting in the wings still to play are Andy Roddick and Leighton Hewitt on these courts. Agassi's out in the stadium. We had a great night still ahead. I feel like we should be doing our Hank Williams Jr. impression right here. Are you ready for some tennis?
We're ready. More than ready, believe me.
5th set, first game.
2 days of this, we've been waiting to see some live action.
30-15.
It's 30-15 now. Sampras' serve. Sampras has played 3 5-set matches this year. He beat Nicholas Escudé at the Australian, lost the Davis Cup match we referenced to Correia, and then lost at Wimbledon in the 2nd round to George Bastel.
You can see in that graphic is a far superior 5-set record than Rusedski.
Rusedski's played one 5-set match this year. That was against Xavier Malisse. Well, actually, he's played 2. He lost to Xavier Malisse at Wimbledon. And, of course, beat Srishapan here several nights ago in 5.
Game Sampras.
14th ace, and Sampras holds to begin the 5th. Both players in this match have had a terrific ratio of winners to errors. Rusedski's 2-1, and Sampras is close to that. Of good quality.
It's pretty much what we expected. This very difficult third-round matchup for both players. You can imagine how Leighton Hewitt was feeling when he saw the draw initially. Rusedski in the second round, both of them for that matter.
And Rusedski in the original draw here was an unseeded player and would have met Hewitt in the second round, but 2 seeded players withdrew after the draw was determined, and Rusedski inherited one of those seeds. He was next in line and was moved just to a different place in the draw.
You can see now that he's warmed up as this match is progressive. The rhythm on the serve much better. Far more difficult for Sampras at the moment to get the break.
And Rusedski, John, is hoping right now that his match the other night against Srishapan was an omen, because he's had trouble 3 years in a row losing here at the U.S. Open in a 5-setter, 98, 99, and 2000.
And in his interview after the match, he talked about that. He is fully aware of his struggles in the 5th set. This would be huge for him to get by here. Monumental. That was a very tentative volley, and then that backhand of Pete's looked like it was going long, but it clipped Rusedski's racket, so it's 30 all. Wild stab there by Rusedski. What suddenly appeared easy this game has gotten more difficult quickly.
What's up?
Only one of the first 4 sets has gone to form, where both men held serve. Sampras won it in a tiebreak. Start out here with each holding. Expedia.com asked the experts question. Is the talent depth, which the men often refer to and rave about, does it reduce that kind of a rivalry today? One thing I'd say right away, John, it's harder for top players to meet.
That makes it tougher, but I hope the answer is no. I think there's definitely some validity to the suggestion that it is more difficult for the top players to meet as frequently as they'd like. And I can tell you one thing, Ted, it's far more difficult to beat the top players in 3 out of 5 set matches. So I still believe that if these top players put their mind to it and there's a run, that it's still possible. And as a matter of fact, it's overwhelmingly likely that in any sport you might run through cycles where appear to be very unlikely, but not. Then you run into a Sampras and Agassi, who played so many times. And I suspect that Leighton Hewitt, we hope, Andy Roddick, if James Blake continues to progress, there's Kierton gets healthy, he's around to put up a fight. Tommy Haas is trying to show some character now at this U.S. Open in the 5th set.
There's always been one strength of the women's game is that its top players play frequently. 15th ace for Sampras. I believe we were talking tonight. Serena and Capriati, I think, have played 4 matches already this year.
I know Serena's beaten her 3 times. It may be 4. Very close matches. You can compare that to NFL football because it's more difficult for those teams to do it year in and year out like we saw in the past.
Well, Sampras blasts a couple of aces and holds. 2-1. Sampras in the 5th.
2-1.
Well, back at Louis Armstrong Stadium. Rusedski serving. We're on serve, 5th set.
That's well handled by Rusedski. Got down low, kept the weight moving forward. You see Andre's gotten the show on the road out and here's Haas showing some character.
How about that, isn't it?
2 breaks already in the 5th.
Good 3rd set there. Optikova and Justine Henin. Rusedski has not been broken by Pete in quite a while. His service games have just been real smooth. Nine doubles.
Ball just sat there. Oh, what? We have a new stat, huh? This is a big one. It's getting tight. That means more sock touches. Research is doing their homework tonight.
Didn't let that game get to a tight spot. 2-all in the 5th.
There we go. On cue.
Remember the memorable match Rusedski played here with Todd Martin. Actually, was not here. It was in Ash Stadium. The round of 16, 3 years ago.
Well, he served for the match there.
Won the first 2 sets. Lost the 3rd in a breaker, and then Martin came back and won in 5.
Sampras inside the service line, looking to get as close as possible. Nice, easy backhand volley to the open court.
John, the other 5-set match I really remember so well with Rusedski was the Davis Cup match that he lost to our colleague Jim Courier in Birmingham, England in '99. Great win for Jim, and 8-6 in the 5th.
Jim had some phenomenal results in Davis Cup. Another guy, do you like to bring this up? Leighton Hewitt beat Guga down in Brazil. Well, so did our man Jim Courier.
Is that right?
Is that right, Jim?
It's great. He's tied up in the
Where
drama,
is that?
the gripping,
the verification.
The drama of the Haas Enquist.
He also beat Henman in that match against England, in England, to pull that out. He beat Safin was way down, and when they played against Russia.
Actually, Jim is on his way to the Agassi match. So when he gets there, we'll confirm that. 30-15 now in the 5th double for Sampras.
The last year I played Davis Cup, Jim played the singles along with Andre Agassi. Pete Sampras and I played doubles together 10 years ago.
The reason I brought that up, John, was that I know talking to Jim about that match with Rusedski, Jim's point was as a player he felt that if you stayed close to Rusedski when it got to the big moments, that's when he might fold.
That's what's happened all too often for Rusedski. That's one reason why his career 5-set record is under 500.
Boy, good 3rd set there, 4-all. That's good. And Sampras holds for 3-2 in the 5th. Now back in Louis Armstrong Stadium. What a night this is going to be. This is the 5th set here, and Andy Roddick is still to come on this court. The rain and the backlog of matches forcing things like Leighton Hewitt, #1 in the world, is going to play on the grandstand shortly. Tim Henman is going to play on one of the outer courts.
A glimpse of the future. I shouldn't say future. What am I saying? Yeah. Hewitt's won 2 slams last year. Roddick here. Hewitt next door. I'm not sure what happened there. The machine
beeped for some reason.
Beeped for some reason in the middle of that point.
It beeped out, yeah.
So the total time of this match, 3 hours, but
both these guys about to flip out there midpoint that Wayne McEwen stopped play.
It was well inside, Pete. It was a knock up, not the plane inside the zone.
Wayne McEwen, veteran from Australia, in the chair. My memory's right. I know Pete has not broken Rusedski since the 2nd set. He broke him once in the 1st and once in the 2nd.
Now you can see how important it was that he got out of trouble. 5-3 down in the 1st. Careless play there by Rusedski. Haas is now up 5-1 in the 5th. Hantukova. Henin fighting it out. 5-4. Hantukova final set. Court 11.
Yep. Look at the matches you see there still coming up.
Henman to follow that on court 11. I'm not sure what happened there, but Pete, what it was called wide is what happened. But she's not admitting to it, but
now Wayne McEwen wants to hear from her.
We'll find out. Rusedski's not going to be thrilled. What?
Well, Pete's saying she must have made a verbal sound or a sign that the ball was in.
Rusedski hits a serve up the middle. It looks to catch the outside of the line, but could have gone either way.
I know, Paul. Change the call after she looked at Pete.
I don't know when the call came.
I know, but you call the score, that's the point.
No, I didn't hear the call. That's why I called the score.
No, you're playing 11 at least?
We're playing 11. That's what I said. That's it.
Now,
Going to replay the point, I believe.
surprisingly mild complaint from Rusedski, because if that ball was in, do you think Pete really had a chance in it? It didn't look like he had much of a chance. Caught the outside line. It should have been an ace. It was either in or out, ace or second serve.
It's back to 30-15 now.
Well, it becomes a moot point. Perhaps fitting that Rusedski won that with some quick hands up there.
Well, the one thing I like there, John, though, I like the fact the way McEwen called that umpire over and asked face-to-face, tell me what the call is.
I agree with you there. It's a start. Pete Sampras hasn't hit as many of these as he would have liked, but look at him staring old Greg Rusedski down there. Take that. Late but correct call.
Oh, and now the door beginning to open a little bit as Sampras gets the game to deuce on Rusedski's 10th double.
Well, that's what Jim Curry alluded to earlier, that if things get tight, he's been known to tighten up, freeze a bit, and here, that was a double. Hold on. Let's see what Greg has to say here. Now he's not too happy about the other call, even though he won that point.
Now remember, he had all the issues with foot faults in the 5th set against Sri Chapin and shrugged that off.
Speaking of tight,
yeah, we're going to find out right now. Here's the test for Rusedski. Break point. That could put Sampras within 2 games of the match.
I know in the 5th set, nothing easy, but he shouldn't have missed that. Crowd pumped up. He'd like that back. Woo. Second serve to his forehand. Hits it well long.
Or would he like to have that back on his backhand? Will we ever say that?
Question, yeah.
Advantage Rusedski.
Well, he did answer question there. Chance to fold was there for Rusedski, and he held.
He hung tough against Sri Chapin, and he's hung tough here so far.
And these are the folks at the top of Arthur Ashe Stadium. They're not looking out at the Whitestone Bridge. No, they can see. I believe they can see into Armstrong.
That would be, how in the world can they do that?
Well, I can see them now. I can look underneath their awning and see them. You can see into Armstrong from up there.
Andre, by the way, is up a break there early in the first set at 3-2. Are they closer to the match they're watching or this court from that viewpoint?
I don't know, but I think you can see the Met game from up there, too.
They're not looking in that direction, the way they're going.
All right, now it's love 15. You almost get a feeling. Well, I'm not almost. I do have a feeling here at 3-all fit. This is something down. One guy gets broken. It's probably going to be it.
The way these guys serve, you would certainly think so. Huntakova, Henin, 5-all, fifth set.
Wow, third set.
Fifth set.
Right.
Thinking 10 years ahead when the women play best of 5.
You know what? I'm glad to see that because Lindsay Davenport got a little grief early in this championship because she wouldn't play when a couple of drops of rain fell. And look what happened to Huntakova yesterday. I'm glad that she's able to play.
Yes.
Apparently she's okay.
That was a highly competitive match. Haas trying to serve it out at 5-3. Actually, he's now at 5-4. He's going to serve at 5-4, fifth set. Lost one of those breaks himself.
Remember here, the pressure will be more on Rusedski. That Pete served first. Until we get to the breaker. Now the point for 4-3. That's out. And we are at 4-3 Sampras in the fifth set of a spectacular Monday night at the U.S. Open of USA. All right, now Tommy Haas trying to finally put an end to a match he seemingly had in his pocket a short bit ago against Tomas Enqvist. And Jim Courier. This has been a strange match in that, and you pointed this out, Tommy Haas, a lot of the numbers look really ugly for him, but he's got a chance to win it.
Well, they do look ugly. The best news for him is that he was struggling after that third set, and he made a really nice adjustment. Not hitting the ball great. He recognizes that. So what does he do? Well, he just starts using his noggin out there, backs up. And you see the numbers are indeed ugly. Twice the unforced errors to winners. And Enqvist, on paper, should be winning this match. But Haas now the second time he'll try and serve this match out. Served at 5-2, broken.
Well, proof you don't win matches on paper. And by the way, the winner of the match here plays the winner of the Rusedski-Sampras match.
Just think about these two matches we're watching now and how competitive they are, and these are third rounds.
By the way, they play tomorrow at 11.
That's exactly what you got to be thinking about. They brought their sleeping bags here. They're ready to go.
And the noise you're hearing, of course, is coming from here at Armstrong.
And not quite so many people packed into the grandstand over there.
Now, Jim, quickly, you did beat Kierton in Brazil, right, in Davis Cup?
You're correct, sir.
Very good, John.
It's a
very good Jim.
Yeah, yes, congratulate him.
30-15.
Well, that adjustment I was talking to with Haas, backing well up on the Enqvist serve, just getting a lot more balls in play right there, and just Enqvist giving him a couple unforced errors of his own, really been the difference. Certainly not the kind of tennis that's going to win the U.S. Open, but Haas just a couple points away from moving on.
Match point for Tommy Haas. By the way, over here at Louis Armstrong, Rusedski 40 love, about to level the fifth set at 4-all. So hang on for just a second.
All right, trust us. We're trying to get you the
we hope for one more point.
We're trying to get you the most important parts of all these terrific matches that are going on simultaneously.
3-hour match here. Tommy Haas at match point, 2 of them.
Well, there he is. That's some
Don't
win,
hurt
Jim.
your arm.
What did I tell you about Tommy Haas, Jim?
Well, he's doing it with his head out there. His body's not at its best, but as long as his brain's working, he's got a shot out there. But bad news for him. He's got to come back 3 out of 5 again tomorrow. Tough on that arm.
Against the winner here, which is now at 4-all in the 5th. So Rusedski took the pressure, held. Now it's Pete's turn. Andre with a chance to serve out the first set.
That was luck, but he'll take it.
15-0.
These nets so tightly wound, and if you clip the tape like Rusedski did there, there's no way of your opponent, Sampras, in this case, of knowing where that ball's going to go. Pretty good bet that at this stage of the 5th set, Sampras will be attacking the Rusedski backhand. And Chakova has held the 6-5 in the 3rd.
Oh. This may be the best night for tennis. Maybe the best night I've ever seen here in terms of the quality of matches going on all over the grounds. Clijsters and Maresmo, another terrific women's match, has just started.
They're on the practice course. Incredible.
30-all here.
Again, attacks the Rusedski backhand. And this is with Andy Roddick, Alex Correia foul here, and Leighton Hewitt yet to take the grandstand court. He's going to go play Yuri Novak any minute. Agassi has won the first set already, dominating Gamble 6-2. He's off and running again.
I feel like we're anchoring Tennis Center.
It's a lot going on out there, Ted. Got to keep these fans up to date.
All right, Sampras holds, and so the ante goes back to Rusedski as we come down the stretch in the 5th.
Thank you.
Well, here we go now with Rusedski serving 4-5 in the 5th.
That's a start to a game. Right behind the service line, Rusedski was forced to deal with that half volley. Sampras is so powerful on that forehand side. Just blew it by Greg.
15-0.
Speaking of blowing it by opponents, there's Rusedski tossing in ace number 19.
Frustrating look not being able to capitalize on that first point. There's my man, Fernando Gonzalez.
He's got a big forehand, big serve as well. He's had an excellent summer, Gonzalez. On to the round of 16. 2 forehand winners. In the nick of time, perhaps. This is 80 winners for Sampras in this match. No chance for Rusedski. He's got this one lined up. He knows if he hits it solidly, he's got Rusedski beat. 2 points from victory.
Rusedski didn't waver. He went at the backhand with the second serve, and again, Pete wins the point.
Well, if you wonder where Pete's forehand's been, it's come to life at an incredibly opportune time. Match point.
Thank you.
That's in. Nope.
No. And Sampras survives. Been a long time since he's felt this good at the end of a match.
What a fabulous final game, Ted, for Pete Sampras. Now, well, we got a round of 16 matchup there. Tommy Haas just finishing a 5-setter himself. Unbelievable ending to that match. Woo!
And remember, this is probably going to be tomorrow. Both those guys are going to come right back and play in the top half there. Those matches are going to still be played tonight. Get that section complete.
Well, Tim Henman's going to go on after the women play their third set tiebreaker.
Right.
Andy Roddick is chomping at the bit to get on Louis Armstrong Stadium.
Yeah, we've got an Eric Clapton special ahead tonight. After
midnight.
Yes, sir.
We're going to let it all hang out.
I love it.
And I think we're about ready.
This is
Pete Sampras to see what he has to say about it. Let's go down to Michael Barkan with Pete.
All right, Johnny Mac, tell us how satisfying this win is to you.
Huge, really. It was a tough match. Greg serving really well. I didn't really get a hold of his second serve, and I was having trouble, but hung in there. The crowd was great. They really got me going there at the end, and it was a good win.
You like playing on this court, don't you? It's intimate for you.
It's been pretty good to me over the years, this Louis Armstrong. Very intimate. You can feel the people, and it was great. These guys were awesome.
And now Tommy Haas coming up, and you got a winning record against him, but he took you in Toronto recently.
It's a real solid player. He's serving quite big. I'm looking forward to it.
Congratulations, Pete. 5-set winner, Pete Sampras. Teddy?
Well, after a summer, really a spring and a summer where most of the close matches were going against him, he wins one tonight.
Who knows? Still alive.
He'll go home and sleep tonight and come back and play again tomorrow.